We are live!
Hello!
Well, some of us are not.
Vaguely, yes. Welcome to the trade, episode 22. Wow, we made it this far.
Yeah.
Okay. This is Making Comics for Quentin Webb. There are 4 of us today. Woohoo! My name's Melony. I'm one of your many hosts. I have my work-in-progress blog right now with my comics called steamandnonsense.tumblr.com. With me today, I have Carrie Potter of the duo that makes Juniper at junipercomic.com.
Yes.
Then we have Dave Barrick from girlpower.com.
Girlpowercomic.com.
Dude, damn it, I did it wrong. Sorry.
That's fine.
And then we also have Roberto. Roberta.
We need a Spanish guitar for that. Roberto Gring.
Of chanceofdoom.com and writhandshine.com.
Hello. That is me.
Yeah. Internet has been a bit wonky as of late, so if there is bubbles and whatnot, we apologize, world. We can only do the best we can. But today we're going to talk about, well, where Dave has been hiding, and what Robert is actually doing lately. And then we've got some lovely topics to get into, so let's go. Robert, let's start off with you. Give us your lovely news as of late.
News. Not really much. I found that I've been really distracted with internet and not getting any work done, so I decided to shut off the internet at my apartment so that I can get more work done. That and the internet bill is going to go up to like $80 a month, and I didn't really want to pay for that. So other than that, I guess I can announce here that I'm working with Carrie on writing Overcast with a Chance of Doom. So I'm going to do a few more strips and then let her take over.
Yay!
We've been the story structure and characters and whatnot, so that's been a lot of fun so far. And she sent me a bunch of preliminary strips, and they were all really good, so I just hired her.
Yeah, all right.
I've got my first writing gig, paid writing gig. So so far has been super fun.
Very cool.
I am excited.
That's about it for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's mostly my update too.
Yes, we're collaborating. All right.
Yeah, just started working on Chance of Doom and putting together the first story arc that I'm gonna try to piece together, and it's kind of a new thing for me because with Juniper, like we stick to kind of little short vignettes, and kind of I haven't really explored kind of like that's kind of what Chance of Doom is, and so I get to play around in a kind of a similar, like a very similar but kind of different format that I'm used to. But it seems like it's, for some reason, it's easier for me to crank out stories. I've found because you don't have to think too hard about like what comes next, because as far as like when you're writing one-off strips, going like, wow, what am I going to write about today? Let's see, what are some topics and stuff. So like you've already got your topic set when you're writing a story. You just have to kind of like, okay, well, what's logically next after this, and then sort of write about that instead and try to squeeze a joke in there somewhere. So that's been kind of fun putting all of that together. So new adventures. What else? What else? That's like the big one. So that's what I've been working on lately.
Hair.
Hair, yes. I chopped all of my hair off, and then I have been messing with it. I've just been playing with it and doing different things. Chopped it really short. Now it's kind of getting long, and I poofed up the front, and so so that's fun. But yeah. So that's me. What's your update, Dave?
Just been keeping super busy with the comic.
Mm-hmm.
I looked back at my archive and I realized out of the last 10 pages of 5 of them have been double-sized pages.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the way drawing action and trying to draw bigger, but that still means more work because it tends to be higher detail and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the last page that went up I think is a double page. The next page that's going up is a double page, and then there's a single page, and then I think after that is a double page. So
God, what have you done?
well, it's action, and the page I'm working on now would probably be okay if I split it into a single page,
Mm-hmm.
2 single pages. But this page I've taken the word bubbles off, so it won't spoil anything. But
Gotcha.
this is the big kind of reveal sort of for my main bad guy.
Okay.
So I didn't want to leave this panel here, which is great for a podcast since people can't see what I'm talking about, where he's like, "Aha, I'm so evil." He gives the reveal, but then nobody knows what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to explain it. So I guess I could have left that part out, but I thought it'd be funny if he's like, "Ha ha ha," and everyone's like, "What?"
What's he talking about?
Yeah, so I had to make this page a double. So it's just keeping very, very busy with all this stuff.
Nice. Well, it looks great.
Yeah.
I think. So I guess we should segue into what we're going to talk about today. Just comparing yourself to other people and sort of the positive and negative effects of that. I don't know if it's completely negative, but
In general, I see it as pretty negative.
I will tell you why. But maybe, I don't know, should we talk about why it's bad first?
I don't know
Sure.
if I have anything bad to say about it. I think it's a good thing to compare yourself to other artists. So I'll be on the pro side.
Okay. So I think it's supernatural, not supernatural, but very natural, to compare yourself to other people, especially if you are feeling, if you're new to something, you want to see what other people are doing, and it's easy to start falling down a weird negativity hole if you are looking at what other people are doing and then feeling bad about yourself or your skill level or any of those things. I think everybody's done it. I know I've done it.
I have.
Yeah, and I think it comes from a place of admiration in a way. You really admire the thing that this person is doing and you wish that you could do it yourself. The trick is not taking that as a bad thing, I'll never be able to do that, and kind of flipping it for yourself and saying, well, if I like this so much, what can I do to kind of improve and work towards that? But it's really easy to fall down the negativity hole on that one for a lot of people. Huh?
Sorry.
She's talking dead.
Oh. But yeah, so maybe Melony, it sounds like you have a pretty negative association with comparing yourself to others. Do you want to talk about that?
No.
Let's be honest.
To be honest, no. But I will. In general, I have depression.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of my big factors. It'll throw me down a spiral frequently if I really don't watch it. I honestly, technical aspects, if I really break it down and just compare the work, not myself, But the work I'm doing to somebody else, technically aspect, really break it down really tiny, then I don't fall down that pit. But a lot of times then I start really just falling down it farther, and I get lost. And then I'll be, I'm never going to get good enough, and yeah.
Yeah. So do you think it's tied to like pre-existing kind of insecurity or
For me, but again, that's me personally. It's one of my triggers. Again, just falling down that depression hole. And I've been trying to figure out how to break the cycle, and so far I found a couple ways to do it. Number one, don't ever compare yourself physically to somebody else. Every person is different. Every person was raised different. Everybody has a different aspect on the world, different experiences, whatnot. Try to break things down where it's, again, a technical aspect that I'm trying to, be similar to, what is it about this person's work that I like so much? Is it the way they lay down a line of ink? Is it actually the pencil line itself? Is it coloring? Is it their storytelling? Is it, really break it down into tiny pieces. What is it about their work that I like?
Right.
Don't compare myself physically to them, because I am not them. They are not me,
Right.
And it's kept me out of that hole enough times that you build up a resistance, a wall, or whatever you want to call it. And so instead of what somebody once told me, you compare and despair, instead call it admire and inspire.
There you go.
Admire what they have accomplished, get inspired by, again, the technical aspects, and go on.
Yeah. I think, too, it's really difficult sometimes to not compare your, I guess, your timeline to other people. Like by the time, so-and-so was this age, they were doing a lot of things that I'm not doing. Or when, it only took, 2 years for this person's comic to blow up. Why isn't mine? And stuff. So it's important to remember that, on the flip side, to like skill level and everything, that that people's things that happen for people happen in different ways at different times, also. So there's that too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, some people have just this natural talent that they, have an easy time, using, and they put down, their first line, and it's spectacular, and it works out for them. And there's a whole bunch of other people that have to work really, really hard for a very long time to get where they have, where they are.
Right. And there's no shame in any of those things. So, I think it's an important thing to remember so that you don't fall down a weird depression hole. But on the other side of everything, I think that that if you can get over that part of, like, if you can stop making it negative, it can really work to your advantage. Like, if you can stop feeling sad or angry that somebody else is, better than you, like if you perceive that they're better than you or whatever, you can use that to your advantage by saying, well, like, like Melony said, what are they doing that I wish that I was doing? Or, like, what are some techniques that they use that they've shared with people that I can use in my own work, and start to make changes to your own stuff based on that.
Yeah, I used to look at things and get upset that I wasn't as good as that. But then for some reason, I started looking at pieces and saying to myself, "That's awesome! How did they do that?"
Right.
Just like breaking it down and looking at it, up at a microscope and looking at their lines and just taking it apart and seeing how they did it.
Yeah. None of it is magic, so it's definitely all possible to learn. But
no, it's all rocket science. I'm sorry. It's all rocket science. You will never understand it. I'm sorry. Go die and bury yourself in the hole right now.
No, don't do that.
So one thing that definitely helped me get over the I'm not good enough phase is looking at people's older work, like their early work when they first started, even if it was when they were a kid or something, and seeing that they still had to work on it. You know, they weren't that good, and they just practiced a lot. You know, and then you can compare yourself. I mean, if you get a like the one person I can think of is Brahm. There's this picture. There's this like series of pictures of his work from when he was like 6 to current, and it's just like age 6, age 8, age 12, and it just got progressively better. And then, you know, I looked at my work and was like, well, okay, I'm about right there. That's how good I am right now, and in time I can get to where he was then, you know.
Right. That makes
That's
sense.
the nice thing about a lot of webcomics is you can still go back, especially, you know, ones that have been running for a long time, like Jeff Jocks and you know, Penny Arcade and PvP and all those ones that have been running for 10, 15 years. Go hit that first button, and there's a staggering difference in the quality of their art. And it's just, I mean, obviously no one pops out of the womb and picks up a pencil and is like, you know, matching.
Oh, come on! Bust out of that womb, pens and paper in hand. Come on!
Yeah.
Welcome, world!
No, Dave's right. Like, you gotta give yourself some slack a little bit, you know. And yeah, it's important to be realistic about everything. Like, you're not gonna be amazing right away unless you're like freaking, I don't know what a good example is of somebody who's amazing right away.
Nobody.
Does anybody know if anyone was amazing right away? Probably nobody.
Spider-Man.
Huh?
The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yes.
It's right in the title.
Spider-Man was amazing right away.
No, I always use other people's art as a guide for where I need to improve, and I never looked at it and thought, I don't know, I'm a very evenly tempered person, like remarkably evenly tempered, and I never looked at someone else's art and got depressed that I wasn't as good as them. I'm just like, well, I guess I need to get better at doing this and this and this, and just using their kind of stuff as guides. It's funny. There's a manga called Bakuman, which is about, it's by the guys that made Death Note, but this one is about two guys wanting to become a manga artist, you know, an artist-writer team, and make like the best manga. And of course, you know, there has to be some conflict. So in a weird way, it's kind of a battle manga, but they're battling like their mangas against each other. And there's the one guy who's like the savant artist who, like, from the age of 8 was drawing like professional level manga, and they're always trying to beat him. But whenever they lose to him in like the poll or whatever, they don't be like, oh, we'll never beat this guy. We're like, we must improve, we must work harder. It's just, it's, I don't know, it's very inspiring. Every time I read the manga, I'm like, I'm gonna go home and draw the shit out of my comic, you know. So I mean, that's the way I've always looked at it. I reference other better art all the time. I mean, I guess it makes sense that I wouldn't reference worse art than mine. But I'm always going to like the people who I think are the best at action. If I'm drawing an action panel and I'm like stuck for something, I'll go and use it as an excuse to reread a few issues of like Black God or One Punch Man or Gold Digger or something. All these, or like old Masamune Shiro or Adam Warren, guys who do like really good succinct action and stuff. Take lessons from them and, you know, incorporate that kind of stuff into my own art. Their kind of styles and techniques. Yeah,
I think every person, even if they're drawing the same thing, will execute it slightly different, and so it's beneficial to kind of look to people that you admire or people that you wish that you were like, and find out what they're doing, how they're doing it, kind of study their stuff, and then try to like use your own version in your own work. It's going to turn out different every single time. It's like, unless you are you're making a concerted effort to copy, which you shouldn't, unless you're just trying to learn.
There's some value in copying and tracing.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Don't publish that and say
right. That's just for practice.
but yeah, there is value in doing it because you figure, oh, okay, this guy draws heads longer than I do, or faces or noses or something, and sometimes trying to trace something and then taking away their original and looking at what you've drawn left kind of reduces it into like the simplest lines. You get to see it for like the first time from that perspective.
Yeah, it's kind of a method of dissection in a way.
Yeah, there's total value in that.
Yeah, but once you start creating your original stuff, it's good to kind of take what you've learned and sort of like apply it in your own way, so that you aren't being a total a-hole to somebody else.
Oh, come on.
I'd be sad if like somebody like blatantly ripped me off and like, hey.
You'd be a little flattered though.
I'd be a little flattered, but I'd be like, oh, come on.
Be a little flattered, mostly like, hey, okay, come here.
Yeah.
I have a baseball bat. It's got your name on it. I want you to introduce you.
I probably would whine before I threatened somebody with bodily harm. Like, hey, stop it. I don't like it.
I'm just straight on to the bodily harm. I don't do enough punching lately. It's just punch.
Yeah, that's a lot of the way that I learn to do things and the ways that I try to improve my own work comes from comparing my stuff to other people. So I do find it really valuable, and it's gotten easier as I've gotten older. I think some of and I guess more confident as an artist to kind of not get bummed about somebody being awesome. And just like noticing things about other people's work that's like, oh, that's really cool. Like, I don't know if I do that for myself, but it's really neat that person's interpreting a body that way, or like in a facial expression, or like, and just looking and appreciating things that other people are doing, just by virtue of the fact that they're approaching something with a different brain, is kind of cool. And the same thing goes for writing as well. I was telling my friend yesterday how interesting it is to me that like different people fixate on different things to tell jokes about, or like approaches are different and stuff just based on what they find humorous and stuff, and that could be like something you'd never think of. And yeah, I don't know, like it's just everybody who is creating things is coming at it from a completely different angle, and I think it all has value and is interesting in some way, and it's better to spend your time appreciating those differences than it is to bum out about it, and better to be inspired and happy than sad and unmotivated.
Yeah, I actually consider referencing other artists the same as using photo reference. I mean, it's just it's a way of seeing a new way of doing something, or seeing a kind of detail that you weren't used to before. I use photo references all the time still.
Yeah.
I mean, which is funny because you tell some people that. I guess some people who don't draw or don't draw as much they feel bad about using photo references because it's like they think it's cheating. I mean, if you're tracing it, maybe, but if you're just using it literally as a reference, and I mean, think of like literally some of the best artists in the world. I mean, even if they didn't have photographs, they use live models, or
Absolutely.
like Boris Vallejo or whatever, use live models, photograph them, and work from that. I mean, it's
sure. Use any tool at your disposal, I say, to improve your work.
It's like, what do they expect you to be able to draw everything from memory and have it look exactly correct? It's like, what do you think?
Yeah, the thing is, having a photographic memory is like a neurological condition. It's not something that a lot of people have. You do not remember what a car looks like from memory, like line for line. So it's important to like just kind of realize that you don't remember things as well as you think you do, and it's okay to have to remind yourself by looking at a picture. So I don't know. I'm a huge fan of Google Images and searching for things that I don't know what they look like. So
I always think it's funny when you go searching on Google Images, and Google Images is actually like really bad at certain things. Especially, well, the more specific you want to get, the worse it is at it. I actually find like Tumblr is
really?
be a little better, because Google Images, if you're looking for like a rear 3/4 view of a head, like, because you want to see how the ear, can you see the eyelashes coming around the side, how much cheekbone can you see, like, there is no way you can find that on Google Images, but for some reason Tumblr seems better about that. Maybe it's the way they do their search algorithms or something.
Maybe.
Yeah, Tumblr and Pinterest. I found a lot of
Pinterest.
Good.
I'm afraid of Pinterest. I know that if I go on there, I'm just gonna fall down some strange rabbit hole and never find my way back home.
There is a lot of good stuff there on Pinterest. You can find, like, cartoon references for anything,
Well, I remember one time I was looking for, I had a character wearing yoga pants, but I was like, I know yoga pants are just super tight, but there's a way that yoga pants look that make them look like yoga pants. So I went on Tumblr and searched for yoga pants, and I was like, that was a deep well.
Yeah, that's.
Obviously, you can search with safe search on or off, and I figure I'm an adult, so I leave safe search off most of the time. But that one was.
Yeah, there's been some stuff I've had to Google that I've been like, this is not going to end well, like horse butt. I'm just like, what's Carrie's ass look like from behind? Gonna have to Google it, and I'm like, this is gonna be nasty.
But clear search history.
Yeah. So,
Children, don't do this. Children, don't do this.
Favorite was underside of a tarantula.
Oh.
Yeah, that was fun. There's lots of pictures of that, by the way.
Something we used to do in college when the internet wasn't as fantastic as it is now is we would go to bookstores and go to, like, sales where they have all these great, like, picture books, like the massive, horses book for $5. Just pick that up and you just have, like, tons of references, and you wouldn't have to go online for it at all, and just flip through and
the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, old-fashioned way. And I still have a bunch of books on my lower shelves of things like that for projects that I did.
Yeah. Comparing your work to real life is beneficial.
Before there were web browsers.
Yeah.
What's that?
Back when I was in college, before web browsers existed.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the youngest one here. My entire college experience was fueled by the internet.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, AOL Instant Messenger came out when I was in middle school, and it was like the best thing ever.
I remember playing Oregon Trail in school. It tells you how old I am.
I played Oregon Trail in school when I was in
the big floppy disks.
I think maybe that was grade school for sure though. Yeah, I'm a baby again.
I had computer games on cassette tape.
Oh my god.
Put the cassette tape in, and it would read it onto the computer and play it, and it was shittiest games.
That is
ever.
amazing.
It would take forever to load, too.
Yeah. And then when you turn off your computer, it would be gone.
That's amazing. The good old days that I never experienced.
Yeah. You're lucky.
I didn't exist at the time. Where were we? We got lost.
Rabbit hole.
Oh, we've only been recording for like 20 minutes. We got lost already.
Oh no!
We're the best, most professional podcasters. Yeah, pros and cons of comparing yourself. Could be your worst nightmare. Could be the best thing that ever happened to you.
Well, I also found the best, honestly, the absolute best thing to do is, again, don't try to compare yourself personally. Compare yourself artistically. What is it about their work you admire? And then go make it immediately. Don't wait. Don't, don't, oh, well, no. Go make it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Don't,
I thought procrastination was one of the tools in the artist toolkit.
Yeah.
Procrastination, I feel like, is how I run my life.
Procrastination is part of my depression. Yeah. No.
I thought it would go away when I grew up, but it hasn't, so I think it's just going to be there forever.
Procrastination?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your strategy for dealing with procrastination was wait and see?
Yeah. Definitely don't try to do anything. No concerted effort whatsoever. Just wait and see if it goes away. Surely maturity will take care of itself.
Yeah. Speaking of procrastination, I just, I one thing when I started my comic, I was worried about, my other primary hobby besides drawing is playing video games, and I figured I would never be good at doing a comic because I was going to play video games. But now I do this comic, and sometimes I'm working on it 12 hours a day. So if I get an hour in the evenings, like at 1 in the morning after I've finished, saved my files, I'm like, okay, I don't feel guilty about that because I put in 12 hours,
Right, you've earned it.
But then, of course, when a bunch of cool new games come out that you're dying to play, you're like, because the Shadows of Mordor game came out, and I put in, I don't know how I managed to do it, but I have actually beaten the game.
Shadows of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, basically. Shadows of Arkham. No, it's still a fun game. And then there's the Alien Isolation game, which I can only play at night anyway because it's a horror game. You can't play that with the sun coming in.
I've heard people had mixed feelings about it.
It's the thing that killed my interest in it, and I want to go back and play it, but I had to take 2 weeks off of it. Was you have to manually save it, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. But there was a stretch where there was nowhere to save it.
Okay.
I want to very carefully, hide behind the desk, sneak into the vent, go around the thing, and then spend 45 minutes getting this one objective done, and then almost on the way back, within spitting distance of the save, I get cornered and killed.
Oh, good.
After being so careful, and I'm just like, oh. So I haven't touched that in about 2 weeks now.
I can't play horror video games. Pretty much, it's like me going, okay, we're doing good. No!
Yeah, no, me and my husband discovered PT for free. It's the playtest for the new Silent Hill game that Guillermo del Toro is working on with somebody else, can't remember. But it's me and my husband were sitting there, and he was in the driver's seat, and we both screamed like little girls. Somebody leapt on us from you turn around and somebody's just right there, and you're like, ah! We both screamed and turned the game off.
Yeah.
Which is also how we stopped playing Outlast. So we just eventually wait for the first big scare, and then we turn the game off. Because we're little sissies. But
see, I have an addictive personality to video games and television, so I have been able to not play any video games for a very long time, and I haven't owned an actual television since I moved. Since I went to college, but I have been in places, lived in apartments that had a television in it, and it was a really bad thing. I would just get sucked into whatever was on, and wouldn't get anything done. And that's kind of what happened with my internet too. So I just, I found a website that had free television,
oh no.
everything. So in the last 2 months, I've caught up on a lot of television that I missed.
Mm-hmm.
That's, part of the reason I'm getting rid of it. But yeah, whenever people are talking about video games, it's like, I would really love to play those things, but I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watch. I mean, I have subscriptions to Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime. But I have on Mondays when I do my writing and I do my panel layouts, I don't watch TV. But then once I start drawing, I can watch TV out of the corner of my eye. So I've watched more TV recently since I started working on my comic than I normally have ever watched. But it's always out of the corner of the eye. And I can't watch stuff that's too interesting It's always going to be like crime procedurals where it's just a
marginally
bunch of people
boring.
talking, and then every once in a while you glance up to look at what's happening, and then you know. So it doesn't really slow me down that much. But I can do it while I work.
Gotcha. Yeah, I usually wait until I'm coloring or something. Coloring's a little bit more mindless than lining for me. I don't normally do lining, but I do really clean sketches, so it's close. But coming up with compositions and stuff requires a little more brain power for me, so I usually skip having the TV on or anything on for that, and then I just save it for when I'm coloring. My coloring process is way less involved than yours, Dave.
Yeah, I wish I had gone with flats. I mean, it wouldn't look nearly as good, but geez, it's
right.
Flatting is almost like negligible as far as the amount of time it takes.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I was looking at what you're doing right now, and I'm like, why is he? How come he doesn't have all the flats on, and he's starting to just do shading? I'm not understanding
but
why.
It's gorgeous.
I do all my skin at the same time. So yeah, the way I color is I flat all of the same thing. So I flat everybody's skin, and then I go in and find one color and color it. And then while I have her selected, I go ahead and do her dabbler's stripes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll just move on to the next person. And I don't know. I find that it's faster that way because that way I don't have to go back in and reselect stuff after everything's flatted. So you select one thing, flood fill it, color it, move on to the next thing, keep going.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it helps to do things when you're in the same kind of frame of mind. Like sometimes I'll sketch all the same character in every panel, and then I'll go back and then do all the other characters. So just because I'm in the right frame of mind for the. Anyway, yeah. So
different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, everyone has different ways of doing it. I mean, I also have recently started. I really like the preserve pixel opacity, so that way I can flood fill stuff and then deselect, and then turn on pixel opacity, which is the same thing as having it selected. But then I can make selections within that selection.
Ooh.
So I can select, like right now, the purple stuff here is selected, so I can do the overlay layer.
Mm-hmm.
But normally, if I want to select something, and my layer is locked, then I don't have to deselect something first.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like overlapping selections in a way.
Oh my gosh. I have the drawing program knowledge of like a toddler. So
yeah, I'm sure there's like a lot of crazy stuff that I'm missing out on. I've seen people do like some really amazing weird tricks. Like one thing I could do with her stripes is, so if I set this back to normal, and then well, I have to have the layers on. Well, I'll have to demonstrate on a different. Let me save this first.
Yes.
Fascinating. I can't stop watching.
Set one layer as a clipping layer to another layer, and that way the layer below it acts as a selection. So I'll demonstrate that real quick.
We should have like a coloring tutorial with you someday.
So here is, right, so here's layer 1, and here's layer 2. Now if I set this one as a clipping group, layer 2 clips the layer below it.
What?
The layer below it. And if I add a third layer below those two, it doesn't, so if I take this and I turn the clipping group off, it's still there. So it's yet another way to do a selection.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, and I think every paint program can do that. It may be called something slightly different in Photoshop or whatever. Sai just calls it a clipping group.
Huh.
I haven't quite figured out what to do with the selection source. I think that's a certain kind of tool, like if you're using the magic wand, you can make it so it only selects from a certain layer that you have set up as a selection source or something. I haven't really messed with that, but the clipping group is cool. So that way you can do a quick, if I want to do my darker purple here on this layer without having to reselect the layer.
Oh, weird.
That's one way to do it. The other way to do it, though, is So if I go to this layer and say, set this and preserve opacity, if I work on the same layer, oops, crap. Oops, crap. Now it only selects stuff that is
Like
only
on that
pixels
layer.
that are already colored can be altered.
Ah, so weird. No,
Yeah.
like I feel bad. Nobody that's listening to just the audio can see this amazing crap. But like, watch the YouTube version because this is interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
We
the
should do a
description
tutorial
is
with you.
you create one layer, color on it, create a layer above it, and then set that layer as a clipping group to the layer immediately below it. And the way, in Sci, it's just a checkbox you hit. In Photoshop, I think it's like you hit Control and select the layer or something. Look for clipping groups on YouTube. There's a million tutorials for this stuff.
There you go.
It's just stuff that I never really bother with. But because I just have my own ways of doing it, and no one way is necessarily a lot faster than another. But I find that using the preserving pixel opacities is helpful because, like I said, you can do those selections within the selections, kind of. And the clipping group is kind of a cool trick, but I don't really use it that much.
That's super cool. So to connect this back to the conversation, I'm comparing myself to Dave's coloring method, feeling like a toddler, but also admiring him for being so smart and good at this.
Well, Carrie, which program are you using? Are you using Photoshop or Illustrator?
I use Photoshop to color, but Manga Studio to do any sketching or lines.
Okay, well, in Photoshop, you can look on my screen here. I have these two layers. Layer 1 is this red one. Layer 2 is this flesh-colored one. You click on the top layer, and you go to this Create Clipping Mask.
Oh.
And it does that.
Oh, snap. Well, there you go.
Yeah, same thing as the way Sci does it.
I sort of just learned the very basics and was like, I don't have time to learn any new tricks. I do, but I just haven't made time to do that.
Yeah, and like I said, it's questionable how much each one of those techniques will save you over another one. They all, like, I asked Fred Perry how he does his, and I'm a huge Fred Perry booster because he does Gold Digger and he does a full color comic every month.
Oh my God!
Pencils, writes, inks, colors on his own every month, and he usually has time for other projects. He's a machine. It's so weird.
Does he sleep?
But I
questionable.
But he uses a combination of those techniques where he'll flat everything at once, and then I think he does it on different layers and then locks the layers, but then also uses the lasso tool to select stuff. I don't know. It's a weird combination of how he does it. In fact, I think he put up a live stream video of how he does it somewhere.
That sounds like the way I do it too.
Yeah, if you go to his DeviantArt page, I think he has a link to it somewhere. But
yeah, DeviantArt seems to be a kind of treasure trove of interesting tutorials that people have made and put up. That's another way. Sorry, I keep trying to loop this back to the subject, but yeah, that's like if you are trying to learn from somebody by looking at their work and kind of examining what they're doing, like if they've got a tutorial out there, just put yourself through it and see if you can apply some of their tricks to your own work if you find them valuable and interesting. So
yeah, a lot of good artists will put will eventually get enough requests for tutorials that they'll just go ahead and make one and put it on whatever, DeviantArt or Tumblr or whatever. I mean, DeviantArt is, like you said, a treasure trove because, I mean, Tumblr is cool for some things, but it's hard to look for somebody's like a gallery. It's just you have to scroll through the timeline.
Yeah, Tumblr's kind of just like thought vomit.
Yeah, DeviantArt's been around for like 12 years, and so the archive of stuff they have on there is enormous.
Yeah, there's been lots of cool, like Mary Cagle's done coloring tutorials because she's got a really interesting way that she shades with different colors and stuff. There was that Tracy Butler thing from Lackadaisy that we looked at during one episode for facial expressions and head construction. Yeah, there's been a lot of cool ones that I've seen. Oh, Melony's got something cool.
What are you holding there?
This is Tracy Butler's expressions sheet.
Oh,
I
you
actually
printed it out. Oh, excellent.
I printed it out.
She's a maniac.
Yes, she is, but man, did I actually really be able to grasp my bear, my poor little bear. I finally got him!
Yay!
Cecil exists now! Besides my head. Yay!
So this is a great example of what comparing yourself to the people's work can improve your own stuff. There you go. I'm such a cheesy a-hole today.
And now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe! Yeah. Yeah. No, I think if you, I think at the end of the day, as long as you're, not being insecure or if you're not already in kind of a negative headspace, comparing your stuff to other people's can only help you improve and keep you from becoming complacent and teaching you a lot of really valuable skills. So don't let it get you down. So I think.
Sometimes it's easier said than done.
That's true.
It just it takes a lot of practice.
That's true.
Practice and dedication, and knowing that you're doing it. Like Melony said, knowing is half the battle. Or somebody said it. It's Carrie.
Someone said a thing at some point.
Yeah, just recently, and I already forgot who it was.
You know what I've found recently is this isn't quite on topic, but a way to improve your art, and maybe this is just a weird thing that works for me, but if you wind up having to draw something multiple times, I find that each iteration of it gets better. Yes. And I don't mean like drawing the same character over and over in a comic. I mean like sometimes I'll be working on a panel and it just doesn't work for some reason. Like the initial sphere I drew for the head was kind of lopsided and it's kind of throwing the whole thing off, but I can't really see it. So a lot of times I'll take the pencils, cut them to a new layer, and just turn them off, just in case I can't draw something better and I have to return to it. But almost invariably when I do that, the second time I do my pencils, they look way better, and I wind up deleting that first layer. I don't know why, and like I said, maybe it's just something that is peculiar to me, but
I think
drawing the exact same thing 2 times in a row seems to really work for me. But that's I think partially because I'm such a brute force artist. Like it takes me a lot of work to get my pencils right. Mm-hmm. So maybe it wouldn't work for somebody who has a simpler style or a more natural feel for it. But if you're a brute forcer like me, then maybe that's something that'll work.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I try to, like, if something's not working, I just strangle it out of it. Like, I just sit there and just, like, I don't take breaks sometimes, and the more challenging something is proving to be, the less inclined I am to walk away from it. I'm just like, no, I'm finishing this. I'm gonna squeeze this composition out of my head somehow. This is happening today. Like, but, so I kind of brute force it as well sometimes, and sometimes that's the only way things get done on time. But also I think that what you're saying, David, kind of goes back to the idea that sometimes your first idea isn't your best idea, and that sometimes coming at it twice or more times than that, even from a different angle or something, helps kind of improve the quality of what you're doing. So it's always good if something's not quite working out to come at it from a different angle and see if you can't improve on it in some way. Just make yourself miserable, and just keep trying that first composition until you want to cry.
Pretty much.
Or move on to another one and then work on something else for a while and then come back to it.
Yep. Yeah. Emotional roller coaster that is being an artist sometimes.
Why do we do it?
I don't know. 'Cause we hate ourselves.
Pretty much.
We love it and we hate it at the same time. Ooh, Maxima's nose is broken.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty snapped right now.
Is somebody gonna like kind of go clink and get her nose back to the way it was, or are you
Yeah,
gonna
well,
drop?
since she's so tough, she's probably gonna have to do it herself.
Yeah. Should have. One eye will water a little bit, and that'll be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carrie, she'd be like, ugh.
When it got broken in the comics, people were commenting, "Wow, she's pretty tough." When I broke my nose, my my eyes were watering.
Yeah, my face exploded. I have not broken a bone yet in my life, knock on wood, but that looks terrible and painful.
I've broken most of mine.
So
Yeah.
confirmed, horrible and painful.
Breaking bones is easy. It's tearing muscles and tissues that is painful. Because that's where all your muscle receptors are at. All the little pain receptors are.
Oh, good.
You don't have any in your skeletal structure.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about bodies to even know, but let's be honest. I'm not a doctor.
Let's see. I've lived through 23 car accidents.
Oh my God.
I've had all my ribs broken. I've broken both my arms a couple of times, both my legs. I've had my knee 4 times now reconstructed.
Oh my God. Yeah.
There's only a couple bones in my body I haven't actually broken yet.
Oh my God.
Do you have any like metal pins or anything? Any bionic
No,
Please tell me you're a cyborg.
not yet. They told me though if I break my knee again, they're actually going to amputate it and give me an artificial one.
Sweet.
Yeah.
My grandma had her knee replaced, and it's like titanium, and I call it her cyborg knee. It's only a matter of time. Cyborg bodies are the same.
Cyborg, honey.
No, my grandma's pretty hip. She like uses Facebook and knows what it is and what she's doing, and
Cool.
she just turned 80.
My grandma's 95 and can tell you about Prohibition.
Oh my God, that's pretty cool.
She lived in Chicago during Prohibition. Okay,
Oh
you want to talk about awesome?
Yeah.
Cool stories. But
Yeah.
she is not hip to technology. I actually had to fix her cable today for her, and that's only because she sat on the remote wrong and changed the channels.
How about it?
bones did you break while you were fixing your cable?
Yeah, basically.
All of them.
All of them.
All over again. Body cast time.
So let me ask you this: out of the 23 car wrecks, how many of them were your fault, and are you still allowed to drive?
0 my fault. 2 I was actually driving.
Ah.
All the other ones I've been passengers. I've been ejected out of a vehicle 5 times now.
Oh my God.
Like that ejected?
Like bodily ejected through the windshield.
Oh my God.
5 times.
Who are these people that you're driving with that are ejecting you out of their windshields?
Everybody. Let's see. We've had a semi. It didn't have a trailer on it. It was just the the little front part there, the truck part, and it got launched and landed on top of our truck and smashed it down.
Oh my God.
I've been in 7 T-bonings I mean, one time the truck wrapped around the other one, and I was in the first one that wrapped.
Let me ask you this. Did you anger a gypsy at some point in your life?
I think I angered the gods when I was born.
You're cursed.
I am cursed.
You put a GoPro on your dashboard or something.
Yeah.
I need to wear one. It'd be right here.
Yeah.
It would be really lucky for if you were one of those people that became sexually aroused at car crashes.
Oh no! Is that a thing? I guess everything's a thing for somebody.
I think true. There's always a thing.
Ugh.
Yeah. Let's see. What else? I've been bucked off of a number of horses too, and that's where I've broken some of my bones.
Scary.
I got attacked by skinheads with baseball bats during an initiation one time, and that's what happened to my knee the first time.
Oh boy.
That was fun. There were 7 of them. There was 1 of me.
Ugh.
And I walked away. They
Yay.
didn't block.
Aha.
But yeah,
Man.
people keep claiming I'm violent. I'm not violent until you're violent with me. Then I become violent.
Well, I suppose anybody would be. And then also evil laugh. Yeah, that all sounds like it sucks. You should stay indoors forever. That's your life. Quarantine yourself inside.
Yes.
So
Blanket wizard time.
Are any of your characters in your comic going to be prone to accidents at all?
I don't know. No, not that I have. Yeah, I go through all the accidents myself. I don't think I need to reenact it for my characters.
Yeah, but if you write what you know,
Exactly.
Which is all horrendous bodily harm.
Yeah, well, see, like, one of the times that I had a car accident, the guy was running from the cops.
Oh.
And he rammed the back end of my car to push me out of the way because it was bumper-to-bumper traffic at the time.
Oh, what an
And I happened to be right at the front of the traffic line, and we just started moving, and I was a little ahead, and he slammed in my back and tried to push me out of the way. The problem is I was driving a 74 Honda Civic. Now, this thing is solid iron motherfucker, little, you know, it might be tiny, but it's fierce, you know.
Right.
And then he's driving a fucking Geo Metro.
Oh, okay, well, you win.
well, that's bad planning on his part, trying to flee from the cops in a Geo Metro.
Fuck yeah. And he was like, nee.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
What an
I
idiot.
just got hit. Wait, what?
What was that? Did I just get hit?
You ran from behind the Geo Metro, you think you popped the clutch accidentally.
Our car is cursed, I think, because we keep getting fender benders, no fault of our own. We had somebody scrape the side of my car in a parking lot, was nice enough to leave a note. The day that we were taking it into the shop, we were stopped at a stoplight, and somebody didn't realize everyone was stopped and rammed into the back of us and broke our bumper. So while they were at it at the shop, they fixed the bumper. Get the car back. 2 weeks later, we are all slowing down at an off-ramp on the freeway, and someone can't stop fast enough and breaks my new bumper again. I'm just like, no. I think I'm just going to roll that car into Puget Sound. And
No, what you need to do is what I did with my little pickup truck.
Mm-hmm.
I put a hitch on the back. Now, this is a U-Haul hitch. It's designed for you to put trailers on, things like that.
Yeah, but I have such a tiny, silly car.
No, let me finish. It attaches across the back and kind of right under the back end of the vehicle itself, and it has these giant metal prongs that stick up and go under the bumper.
Oh, okay.
The problem is my truck has had the bumper ripped off. So I have these giant metal prongs sticking out the back end. You want to talk about nobody ever re-ringing me again?
Your people.
I'm like
on the back of your car.
Yes, bitches, come on, try it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, lovely rabbit hole. Hello.
Indeed. God, like 20-minute long rabbit hole. Anyway, should we wrap up? Do you think?
Yeah. Well, let's give our book recommendations.
Oh yeah, we were gonna do a new little segment about book recommendations.
Oh yeah.
That's a thing.
Hold on. Let me look at my shelf.
Let me grab something out.
Grab something off your shelf there, Robert. I have one. I'll go ahead and start. Dave, you don't have to if you don't want to here. Or just kind of figure this might be a good way to introduce everybody to some new material that they might have not have.
Art books or just stuff we've been reading?
Anything, honestly.
Okay.
I'm going to start off with this new one. Now, I've got both the Kindle version and then I got a hard copy as well. Because especially with this type of book, which is a how-to book, I like having a real hard copy. I don't know why, but with the Kindle, it just I just have a lot of issues with that. I don't know, it's a mental thing more than likely. But it's called Unnatural Talent. It's by Jason Brubaker. Creating, printing, and selling your comics in the digital age. It's one of the newer tutorial books I found out on the market, published 2013. It's pretty damn good. I mean, it walks you through, anything and everything, all your roadblocks, for instance. There's even a section on actual roadblocks in your career. Anything from the perfectionist attitude of just getting wrapped up in useless nonsense and bullshit and being able to get your way through it, to actual business end of things.
That's cool.
It's really a very functional book. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I've got both the digital and the hard copy. I bought the digital. He was running a special on his website. He's done some different comics. He published, I don't know if you guys have read anything called Remind. That was one of his newest graphic novels he's done.
Let's see. I'm gonna Google mine real quick because I can't. I'm like looking around for it and I don't know where it went. Robert, why don't you go while I'm looking for this?
I guess the only book I could recommend right now is one I just finished reading. Is the Serious Guide to Joke Writing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry?
What's the author?
By Sally Holloway. Written in 2010. There's a lot of different books on writing comedy or joke writing and everything, and they all take different approaches. This is just another one of those. But I recommend this one because it helped me realize that the way I've been writing all along isn't bad. What I have been doing is writing down all my ideas. Even if it's not funny at all, if it's something that inspires me, something that I want to write about later, I just write it down in the notebook and let it sit, let it simmer, and hopefully I can come back to it and think about it another way, come at it from a different perspective, and write something funny about it.
Mm-hmm.
So this book helped me realize that it's okay to do that. I mean, that's basically, I'm doing a lot of grunt work, and writing comedy and jokes does take a lot of grunt work. Getting even doing stand up. The people that get up on stage and they just talk for an hour and a half, and it just comes out of them so fluidly and so fast. It seems so effortless, but what you don't see is the hours and days and weeks and months and years that they spent exploring every aspect of those jokes and coming up with the best version of their ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I recommend.
Nice.
Serious Guide to Joke Writing, Sally Holloway.
All right.
It's British, so there's some things in there that us Americans won't find funny or won't understand because of the terminology and whatnot. But
okay.
The idea is there.
Nice. I'm just gonna do a recommendation for the spooky Halloween season. Everybody will probably hear this around November, but keep that going as long as you can because Halloween's fun.
Every day is Halloween.
Yeah. So Halloween and Christmas are neck and neck for my favorite holidays. But anyways, mine's called Will o' the Wisp, an Aurora Grimion story, and I discovered it at Comic-Con, and it was in this really pretty hardbound kind of diary. It even had like a little gold clasp on it and stuff. It was really cute, a cute presentation. But it's by Tom Hammock, and the artist is Megan Hutchinson. And the story is about a young lady who's, I think her parents die in a car crash. Or no, it's not a car crash. It's accidental mushroom poisoning. I'm just now refreshing my memory reading this little Amazon thing. But she has to go live with her weird grandfather, and he's sort of lives deep in the southern swamps and stuff, and so you get all these interesting kind of very atmospheric imagery of the swamp and living in a bayou kind of, and it's sort of got a bunch of interesting like voodoo things and ghostly things happening, and it's got a bunch of really cool like themes and imagery and stuff. So that was a fun read. It took me a little while to get used to Megan Hutchinson's art style. I can't even describe it. It almost wasn't my cup of tea, but it really grew on me by the end. But yeah, you should pick that up. It's called Will o' the Wisp by Tom Hammock and Megan Hutchinson.
There you go.
Good stuff.
I got my copy right here.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, this thing is fantastic. I was with Carrie there at Emerald City this past time around, and I picked myself up a copy as well and got it signed. And I sent them some fan art, which apparently they squeed over.
I love doing fan art. So yeah, it's a good one. Dave, you got anything?
I don't have any like tutorials or anything, but what I mentioned before we started recording, Paul Kidd's Dungeons and Dragons book, the White Plume Mountain, I think it is. It's Paul Kidd with 2 D's.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great, like I said, it's a D&D module that he basically fleshed out with his own characters, and just really original cast, and it's great action in it and a little bit of humor. I mean, it's not a comedy book, but it's good action drama with humor peppered in, mostly supplied by the pyromaniac sentient hellhound pelt and the shape-shifting fairy. So
can't go wrong with a shape-shifting fairy.
Yeah. Yeah, those are I like his stuff, and I was recently thinking about it because I picked up. He also did another Dungeons and Dragons book, although this is actually Gamma World, which is their post-apocalyptic. They've reissued the Gamma World game. The original version was emblematic of the 80s Cold War nuclear scare apocalypse type stuff. So it's all mutants and Road Warrior type stuff. The new version is like, apparently the bombs like shattered the dimensions, so there's weird alien tech laying in caches out in the wilderness, and there's still radiation and mutants and people picking up stop signs and thinking, oh, that'll make a good shield, but not being able to read the strange runes on the front. But it's got his interesting mix of characters and humor and action and stuff. So I just generally enjoy he's probably one of my favorite authors.
Nice. Well, there you go, reading material.
Heck yeah!
All right, well, I guess we should wrap this episode up. This might be the last episode Robert's on for a little while since he's going on an internet hiatus.
Yeah, a couple of months at least, 3 months.
That's all right. Do what you got to do. That's what I say.
We'll keep in touch.
Oh yeah, I mean I'll still have email and access to the internet, but not nearly as frequently or whatnot.
Your inbox is just going to be filled with my Chance of Doom ideas.
That's good.
There you go.
18 emails a day.
Well, I have my phone, so I'll be able to answer emails on the phone. So. Okay.
No porn on your phone, though. Okay.
Yeah. No porn.
The streaming is just awful on your phone, so.
Gotta get the good frame rate for the porn.
Yeah. Can't chintz on that stuff, anyways. All right. Well, I guess with that, we'll sign off for the evening or morning.
Yes, wrap up with
afternoon.
porn.
What day is it? Ugh.
The thing with the stuff and the
Oh, I can't even anymore.
All right, guys. Well, let's wrap it up. My name's Melony, steamandnonsense.tumblr.com.
And I'm Carrie, junipercomic.com.
I'm Robert, writhandshine.com and chanceofdoom.com. I'm
David at girlpowercomic.com.
All right, guys. Thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.